Today, I'm going to give you a brief example about how we can store our short-term and our long-term memory. Now, when we try to contrast, when we compare these things, we know that there is a difference. Our short-term memory is just like it sounds, short-term, just for a little brief, for a little while. Our long-term is when we obtain that information, like I stated once again, we obtain that information and it is stored long-term. But there are some similarities in the working memory or short-term memory and the long-term memory, because one fact, that is how we obtain information. So whether it's short-term, whether it goes in for a little while or whether we retain it, that's our memory. That's the part of our brain that is able to pick up whatever the information is quickly or briefly, or we're able to hold it for a long term. Also, under the working memory and the short term part, we also got to remember that there is something called rehearsal. And rehearsal is nothing more than just being repetitious. And the more and more we repeat something, then that information from the short term can be plugged into the long term, and we're able to hold that information for a longer time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to briefly show you an example of short-term memory and long-term memory, and how we pull both entities together, and we can show how our short-term memory and our long-term memory works. I'm going to, my daughter is going to demonstrate with me. I'm going to show her a scale on the keyboard. I'm going to play a scale, and once I play the scale, I'm going to ask her to play the scale. And if she cannot play the scale, then we know that that's short term. She might have seen, she may have hear it, maybe briefly, she may catch it, she may not, but we're gonna work until she's able to play those scales just like I showed her the first time. Join me as I show her the information on how we obtain our short-term memory and our long-term. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a scale. I'm going to play in the key of C. I'm going to play a scale, and I'm going to play the notes in the key of C. And here it is. It's D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and back down. I'm going to do one more time. Mario, what I want you to do is I want you to do the same thing I did. If you can remember, however you heard that sound, I want you to play that same scale. Let's go for it. Try and see, however it is. Just don't worry about making a mistake. Just play it as you heard me play it. All right, great job. Okay, I'm gonna do it again until you hear it, until you hear that sound. That was our short-term memory. You took what you heard, even though it really wasn't correct, but you took some of the notes that you heard to filtrate what you're trying to get to. And the objective is for us to take the information that I'm giving you or showing you the example of some notes on the keyboard. You're going to hear it, you're going to obtain it, and then we're going to store that into our long-term memory. So once again, we're going to start in the key of C. This is the key of C. I'm going to show you the key of C. Once more again. And that right there, that is a prime example. The first time I showed her, I started in the key of C. She heard it, she looked at it, but she didn't obtain it quickly. It was short term. It was just for a moment. She got some of the notes right, but she didn't grasp on until I showed her again, and she was able to hear it and obtain it. And when she did that, us our long-term memory. And it's processed in our